In this demonstration, I'm going to go to the timetable. I'll do the timetable in a couple of videos because there's quite a bit to cover. So here we are on the dashboard as always, and I'm going to go up the top here and click on timetable, and it brings me into the timetable itself. Now, what I'm going to do is break this video into two sections. So this will be one video, then I'll do another video, and we're just going to look at the basic layout in this video, and I'll go through the top row of buttons. I won't be covering the bottom row, that'll be done in the next one. So let's have a look at the general layout of the timetable. What we've got here is at the top left hand side here, we've got basically the function buttons, everything that you want to do. These are more or less quick functions that you want to be able to perform, and that's why we've got, like I said, I'm just going to go through the top row of buttons there, but I'll do that in just a minute. Over to the right here, we've got these blocks here where you can see that it says RM1 front room and RM2 back room. Now you can name those rooms whatever you like. They up here in the settings section. What that does is if you go into that, where you see the gear section there, go into that, and then you can set up what you're going to call it. It'll always be RM1 and RM2, but you can decide what you want. If you don't select RM2, that means that won't show that second section there. Now what these are the days, so all obviously means every day of the week. It'll show all of the days of the week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, etc. That's what they mean. And there's three types of buttons. So the first type is showing all the times, so whether they're booked or unbooked, so basically everything that's there except for the hidden times, which I'll talk about in a minute. The next row is available times. So if I click on that on the Monday there, it's only going to show me the times that are available on the Monday, and that's why there's nothing in there and it's empty, because those times are available to book in a student. So I can look at any day I like, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and if you look here on the Monday, for instance, you can see that there's only a few times there. There's about 9-10 times. The other times are either booked or they're hidden. And there's a function to hide times, which, like I said, I'll show you in a minute. And then the bottom one here, booked, it'll show you the book time. So this is just the times where the students are actually booked into a time. So if you want to look at your daily timetable, what's happening, say today is Monday, then you just click on the M there and that'll show you what's happening on Monday. So that's what those three rows represent. And the second block here is for room 2. At the moment, we're just looking at room 1 today. Okay, so coming over here to the actual timetable itself, just so you know what each row stands for. The very left hand row here, this is just a place to click each row, because if you click in different places, you could change the name, you could change, these are all functions that you can change. So by clicking over here, if you just want to go down through the rows, select a particular row, then you can do that by just clicking on that arrow. Now the next row here is the room, so that's showing that it's room 1. If we're over here on room 2, for instance, there's actually nothing in there, but if we're here room 2, that would change to room 2. So we'll come back to room 1. The next row is the tag, and the tag represents the different types of lessons that can be going on your timetable. So at the top there, it's in alphabetical order. At the top there is cal for calendar. It means a calendar listing, and if you've got a calendar listing, that means that it refers to your calendar. So what I'll do is I'll go into a calendar listing and show you exactly what it looks like, and that's marked by this icon here. So it'll show here the person's name, and then it'll show calendar here, and that's linked to your calendar, whether that's a Google Calendar or Acuity or some other kind of calendar, then that will link to that, and you get to decide where that's linked to in your, again, back in the section that we call it the business details. Is where you put your details. And that's what that one is. So that's for the first one, calendar. The second one is for casual lessons. So again, I've got and these buttons, I'm kind of explaining as we go, but I will cover them again. So this is a casual lesson. It means that it's just a one-off, and in there will be a date as well. So we know that that's for the 15th of the 2nd. It's also, the date is here and here. We put it in two places just to make sure you don't miss it. And then when that's been done, that casual lesson, when you look at all your times here and you can see a casual lesson, you can see that it's passed, then you know to delete that it no longer is relevant. So the next tag on there, have a look, is group tag, and that's these green ones here. And you can see that I've color identified them as well to make them easy to find. So this is what this button here is. So there are your group lessons, and normally obviously you're going to have more than one student here, and you can just click here to add another student if I want to put this student in that group, and I can keep sliding across here and adding more students to that group. And that's so the group lesson button up here and having these tagged as group is going to allow you to quickly see all your group students, and when you're looking for a certain group you can sort it here by level, and you can even actually go here. You can say, okay, I want a group student and I want their level to be junior 1, and when you do that and you click there, it'll show you only, and there's only one on here and this, but it shows you all the groups that you've got at that level, making it very easy for you to find a group for a particular student of a particular level. Okay, coming back to the timetable. Here we are on, the next one here is INT, which stands for intro, and so they're all the intro students. Again, if I click up here on the intro button, you can see that it shows me all the intro students, which is very, very handy. The next one here is special SPEC, and we've got that marked by a star here, and the idea is that if that's something special, I don't even know what you would use that button for at this point, but I thought I'd include it just in case you want to put something in there that's a little bit out of the normal. Okay, so the next button here is this form button, and what that means is that, I'll just again open up the timetable. If I click any of these form buttons on that particular time, so if we look at this class here, it'll take me into a form view of that particular class, and you don't need to use it much, but you might want to put some comments in for that particular group, something that's relevant to that group. Maybe they're working on a particular song, or you need some general information about them. They have some learning disability, something that you think that needs to go into the comments, which is handy, especially if a new teacher takes over. And you can see it lists the students that are in that class, and here you can actually hide the time, and that's probably the most important function here. You can see over here to the right, I can hide that time, and that way it won't appear on the timetable. And you wouldn't hide a time when you've got students coming at that time, but you might hide a time that's there's not going to be a lesson. So let's say that you have a 6 a.m. in the morning on a Monday, and you know you don't open your doors at 6 a.m. You're still fast asleep at that time. Then you're not going to put in a time for that. You're going to hide that particular time. So let's say here, if I go to the full timetable, I've got Monday here, and let's just say, for instance, that I don't teach past 9 o'clock, and so the last times that I'm going to put in is 8:30. So what I can do there is go to that 9 o'clock time, click on there, and then I can hide that time, and then I go back to the timetable, and when we look at that Monday again, and we come down here, you can see the 9 o'clock time has gone. I can do the same here. I'll do it again to the 9:30 time, hide that time, and then come down to the 10 o'clock time and hide that time there. And that way, no time is going to appear that I don't want on the timetable for bookings. And that's really important, because you don't want to have your timetable cluttered with times, or you don't want people booking in to times that you don't actually have lessons operating. So the main function of the hide, by the way, is just to keep your timetable clear, so you don't have it cluttered up with times that you're not going to be using. So that's that. And next is due. So the due is for a few different things, but it's basically whenever something is due. And so if they start an intro, that's going to, the due date is really the date that they're going to end their intro or start their intro. You could make it as well. And the idea of a due date is that what happens, I'll just explain the way it works. What happens is when a student books in, the due date will be the time that they're starting their lesson. Once they've booked in and have paid, then the due date becomes the time that their 5-week intro finishes. So it's always when their payment is next due. So as a booking and they haven't paid, then they're due on the day that they're meant to start. If they've already started or already paid for their intro, even if they haven't started their first lesson but they've paid for their intro, then the due date becomes the date that they are going to be due to pay for their next set of lessons, and in our case, subscribe. So that's what the due date's all about. And by clicking up here on that icon, it sorts the due dates. So you can see from the most overdue to those that are coming up. The red means overdue, the orange means that it's due within the next 7 days, and the black means that it's not due within the next 7 days, sometime after that 7-day period. So that's all the due is. Coming across here to instructor, this is the teacher, and what happens here is that you can choose the teacher from here. You can change the teacher's name, so I can add a teacher in that column. And there's another place you can add them as well, but this is just generally. And what you will want to do is put in the times, put in the teacher, the instructor, in the times that they're going to be available, whatever their shifts are. And that way, if you want to search for a particular teacher, which you can, coming up here, let's just say that I've got these free times and I want to put in Emma here as being available in those times, knowing that she works on those particular times. Then what I can do is I've just added her name there. So if I come up here to find a teacher and I click on Emma, then I can see all the times that are available, and I can see that she's there and she has available times in at that time slot. So that's the instructor. The next one is level. So here you can choose what level the student is, what level the group is. This is generally set up at the beginning, but again, you might say that you want to dedicate this particular time slot for junior ones. That's what that's going to be. Even if there's no students in there, you can dedicate that time for that if you wish. Again, you can sort here with the levels. You can choose what levels you want to see. This is what the find here is for. So you can go here to find, and then you can select which level that you want to see. So if you want to see all the junior 1 classes, click on there, and away you go. The next one is day. Here, in this case, you might want to see a particular day, so you can go here and choose the day there if you wish, and you can see everything that's on a Wednesday. But we already have the button set up here, so you don't really need to do that in the case of that day. Now there's the time, and this number here pertains to the number of students that are appearing. So if I hit here on Monday, I can see that there's 19 students in total. The 2 represents that there's 2 in the group. So if I go here to the next one here where there's only 1 student and I add another student there, you'll see it'll change to 2 once I click on it. And so that changes that total. So I now know on a Monday that I've got on this particular shift, there are 20 students in total, which is really good for keeping stats. You know, if you open up your whole timetable, you'll see the total number of students you've got at any time, and you can see all the groups that are there as well. So it's very, very handy to know that number. And then of course we've just got the students, and at the moment it's set up to facilitate 7 students in a group, which is more than we generally recommend. 5 is about right. You can go to 6, and 7 is really having that just a little bit extra there if you need it. So coming up here to I'll just explain these two here first. This is find a student. So all the students who are on the timetable, only if they're on the timetable, will appear here. And that makes it very easy, so you don't have to type in their name, you just have to click on there and you can see who they're. So you might want to see where John here is, and you can see that he's in at those times. Now when you're done with that, you just click on the red cross there. If you want to find a teacher, you can just click on the teacher and the same thing comes up. It shows all the teachers' listings. Again, click on there. Now coming up to these top buttons, what we've got here is this. The first button here shows all the times on the timetable. Everything is available except for the hidden times. They won't appear there. The next one is sorts the due date. So as I explained before, it shows you from the most due down to the least due, and that's what that's for. The next one shows you any hidden times. So you might want to bring back a hidden time. So you might say this particular time here of 9:30 on a Monday, you don't want it hidden anymore. So you click on here, you click the unhide, and then you go back to your timetable and it will reappear. So if I go here, there it is, it's come back into my timetable. So that's the idea of that. The next button here, the blue, that corresponds to the tags here. All these 5 remaining all correspond to the tag, and we did go through them. So you've got here, the first one there shows you all the intros. The second one shows you the green ones, the groups. The third one shows you casual lessons. Next one shows you the calendar listings, and the last one is for special. So that explains that top line, and I'm gonna, like I said, in the next video I'll go through this second row. So hopefully that's been helpful to get you started on the timetable. Thank you.